And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you were listening. It's Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Hope you're having a good day. I'm not. I'm frustrated. I'm demoralized. I will explain right out of the box today. But in case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, corruption, sleaze, criminal acts, debt deficits, scams, shams, whatever comes to mind. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, go ahead, put our name in. We'll also post it on podcast apps as well as the YouTube channel, BizTV. Ladies and gentlemen, my frustration, pissed off, demoralized, has everything to do with the markets. And I don't believe anything I will say is hyperbole. You know, there's been a running, I wouldn't call it a joke, but a running joke on Wall Street. Almost basically laughed off, but has a lot of people very upset. And that is the insider trading of our corrupt political class. The self-dealing of our corrupt political class. And we can sit here and go through a laundry list of it. A laundry list of it. But the latest really has got me and should get you. And I say that because we have to ask, are they just now a criminal enterprise? Are they just wanting to line their pockets? We already know how Nancy Pelosi, there is a tracker of her trades throughout the years. They call her the greatest hedge fund manager ever. But it's not just her. There are people online that keep a running trade of all the politicians, and they're just all scumbags. They're on committees for defense and are trading in defense stocks. They're on committees of healthcare and they're trading on healthcare stocks. They're on committees that make decisions on this, that, and the other thing, and they're trading on this, that, and the other thing, and their trading has been flawless. Doesn't that piss you off? We go to jail for what they do. And do you know, for 2 or 3 years they've been threatening to come up with legislation so they can't trade. That's how bad it's become, but of course, nothing ever happens. And then there was Monday morning. $580 million in oil trades 15 minutes before the president's announcement about productive talks with Iran. Nearly 6,200 Brent and WTI contracts changed hands. And of course, oil prices sank like a stone. At the same time, massive futures were bought up on the stock market, which gapped up and was up 1,000 points before you can blink. Somebody's a freaking crook. Somebody should be in shackles and have their asses hauled away. $1.5 billion futures trade placed minutes before the pivot, or whatever the hell you call it. I call it Trump's BS. You're not pissed? And let me tell you where I am pissed today. There's no investigation. The president knows about this. He reads everything. He follows everything. Which calls into question who did this. And so far got away with this. I'm so pissed off at this administration right now for doing nothing about it, because it should be evident that somebody very close to the decision maker acted on it. Nobody puts that kind of money up before the markets if they don't know. And nobody's doing a frickin' thing except, of course, the other side. And for whoever did this, I can't wait until the Democrats win the House in November. Because come January, the first subpoena will be of those trade records. Good. Damn good. But we have to ask the question, where's the president? Where's the president on this? Somebody made millions, if not tens of millions, maybe it's hundreds of millions, off of his statement before the market yesterday morning, and he hasn't said a word. Some Democrats have, who I can't stand, because they're in the soup also. But this one just sticks out. And you should see social media. Social media ripping the stuffings out of this. What's going on? Should we put the words Gottis and Gambinos on the front of the White House? And in the cabinet room? You tell me. I'm not even talking about the war, and he was all over the map today. He can't even keep his story straight from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. On war. It was bad enough on tariffs. You wouldn't believe some of the crap coming out of their mouths today. But I digress. What the hell is going on here? A criminal acted on Trump's announcement Monday morning. A crook. And it hit me. I'm so pissed because I believe in fair play. Don't you? Don't you want to teach your children fair play? Honesty, doing the right thing. They suck. Not a word. Not a word. And they want to know why they don't get my vote, why I went independent years ago. We'll put a bow tie on it. Then the markets. Lots to cover. This is the one only Investor's Edge. Do you know who I'm pissed for also? You. I'm pissed for all of you. You're out there working hard to do better for yourself and your family. Some people just to make ends meet. Some of you are doing okay. Some of you are doing well. Some of you are doing terrific. And I'm talking about in your business life. Would I be forward in suggesting most all of you are just plain old honest and have no interest in cutting corners that are downright ethically challenged or downright criminal? Is that wrong to say? Because I think I'm right. I get emails from a ton of you. I've heard a lot of your stories and your life. And we have a bunch of frickin' crooks in both parties in Washington, D.C. Crooked as can be. And in plain sight, that the people who are running the House and the Senate right now and the White House can be jumping all over this. And they're not. Which begs the question, what do they know? Because again, let me finish this. There is no way in Hades anybody would be putting up those numbers before markets. That wasn't a trade. That was knowledge. That was information. And they ain't doing squat about it. For all of you, I'm sick for you. They continue to hate us. They continue to give us the middle finger on a daily basis. They continue to laugh at us and lie to us. But a few months before election, they're doing everything for us. We move on. So, software. As you know, November 4th, we called it top on software. At the time, you had Microsoft, Oracle, and others, some big names really getting in trouble on a technical basis, but we didn't know what was going to come from it. You never know. I've mentioned maybe 100 times on this show already that we're stunned. Oracle has gone from 346 to 147 since September, even though that 346 was off an announcement of $500 million backlog, and the stock gapped up. And then it went through a few weeks of nothing, and then started to break. And we told you, I think we had a 7% position in Oracle. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm right. We sold at 303. I think we made 20 cents. It's gone from to 147. And it's done what we call the roadmap of bear markets. Classically. But Microsoft also, Salesforce.com also, SAP, the big German software company, also 313 down to 171. And those are big names. And then you have some sub-big names and then some sub-names. CrowdStrike, a very famous 567 to 393, riding the rails, that roadmap of bear markets. And I have this left screen, we call it. It's the left screen. Nothing political, just the left. It's where my screen is. It's on the left side of my screens, and I have 4 of them. And what we do with that screen is when something tops out in technology and breaks down, we move it from our good screen to this left screen. And throughout the months and months and months, we've ended up with hundreds and hundreds of names. And a lot of them have just completely blown up. Names you have heard of in the software realm. You've heard of Intuit, 813 to 432. You've heard of that. You've heard of Workday. You see that in golf, 276 to 130. Oh, and by the way, insiders are selling down here. A couple of famous names. Palo Alto Networks, you've heard of that one. 223 to 157, and that's a good one. Well, recently we had said to you, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, that we thought the software stocks were trying to put in some sort of a low. That's exactly what we said. And what we said also, though, but that's because they're very extended to the downside. They had a big drop in February. And the story goes, well, artificial intelligence is supposedly going to take over. I don't know if that's going to be happening or not. We hear it in some cases. Well, they did rally them up, but anemically. And last Friday started to roll them over. The Friday before. And what we mean rolling over, instead of a stair step going north, it starts going south. And all I can tell you is they blew them up again today to the downside. They blew them up again. They never made it even to the all-important declining 50-day moving average, which is the roadmap for a bear market. And Microsoft, a new relative low. SAP, a new yearly low. Salesforce.com had a big insider buy. He's getting his butt beat. That's near new yearly lows. Oracle, these are the big ones, getting close again to new yearly lows. That left screen I was telling you about looks like the south end of a northbound jackass. Go figure that out. The screen was beat red today. No let up. Up next. We'll put a bow tie on that, and then we'll talk about the good side. This is the one only Investor's Edge. By the way, here you go. 580 million oil trades made minutes before Trump's key Iran announcement draw scrutiny. Over $500 million in oil bets were placed just 15 minutes before President Trump announced Monday he was pausing plans to attack Iranian infrastructure, sending prices plunging. In a narrow window between 6:49 a.m. and 6:50 a.m. Eastern Time, about 6,200 Brent. This is the Post, New York Post. In a narrow window between around the same time, volume in the S&P futures also spiked, with equity markets beginning to move higher just moments later. Then at 7:04 a.m., Trump posted on. Well, you know the rest of the story. It was not exactly known how the trades were positioned, though the flurry of activity suggests the bets were on falling oil prices. Duh. It remains unclear whether the trades were placed by a single entity or multiple players. Of course, They had to be smart, the New York Post. The next line, there is no evidence that your trades involved insider information. I'll answer that. You're damn straight they had inside information. Anyway, that's that. So just so you know, as I speak, the market finished down 84 today. The NASDAQ 184, NASDAQ 100 186. A strong semiconductor group really helped out, and a strong artificial intelligence list. We've mentioned them, this Ciena, Coherent, Corning, Lumentum, LITE, Seagate, Western Digital, Teradyne, and the like. All had a very good day. All helping out. I don't see the news yet. There's got to be some news out of the president. Let me tell you what I'm seeing. It just happened a minute ago. The Dow in the aftermarket is up 360 points right now. Make that almost 400. The QQQ went from 584 to 591. We'll call it 1.4% in the aftermarket. Still on the move. Oil, the USO, I'm giving to you, down $5 after the close. The president must have said something else. I have not seen it yet. If it shows up, we'll be yapping about it. I'm sure he said something about Iran. So going into tomorrow, something going on. Oh, no, that can't be it. He said that an hour ago. An hour ago, the president said Iran has agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. Well, that's BS. That's just nothing new. They've been saying that forever. I don't see what changed the playing field as of yet. Again, if I see anything, I will let you know, but everything is moving in the aftermarket. Let's see. I'm giving you I have nothing new. Well, at least we're going to have a good start tomorrow. And by the way, it's still on the move. The Dow now is up nearing 500 in the aftermarket. The oil USO is down $6 now in the aftermarket. And I'm pretty sure any moment I'll get something. And as we have said to you, they got to get out of this. They got to get out of this. They got to get out of this. So something's up. But I don't see something from the last 2 minutes. Well, we'll see what happens overnight. We'll see what happens. And as I said, there's simple reasons why they have to get out of it. I gave you 6 points yesterday. Number 6 was they're getting destroyed. The party, the president, the midterms, they're dead. And they also know. They absolutely also know. The Dems are going to spend all their time on impeachment and investigating a lot of shaky stuff. And it's going to be subpoena city. That's just one part. But of course, the other part is you got to get out of this thing. You say you won. A few months ago, you said we obliterated their nuclear. 2 weeks ago, you said they are 2 weeks away from getting nuclear. By the way, this is what we mean by they're a mess in their messaging. I digress. The semiconductors, the artificial intelligence, optical storage, data, memory, very strong day today in the face of a down 184. In the face of a down 184. By the way, to tell you how crazy it is, because we're in the aftermarket right now, the Dow now was just up 500. It's only up about 240 right now. So it just dropped 260. So who the hell knows what was said and whether the market believes or doesn't believe it. And I still don't see anything that moved the futures as of yet. But I'm sure we'll be getting it soon. Yeah, nothing new. Anyway, I hope you appreciate we don't hold back here. We don't play favorites. We don't see R or D. We don't. We're not in love with anybody. In fact, we're not in like with anybody. When I get emails from people about, oh, this one and that one, and he's only doing for... No, I deal with policy and whether they're BSing us or not. Because kids, there's just a whole load of BS. 39 trillion of debt says so. 1.2 trillion a year now. Lines at the airports and each blaming each other. By the way, the only news I'm seeing after the market is the U.S. is preparing options for military escalation, including boots on the ground, in the case peace talks fail. So I don't see anything that moved the markets in the aftermarket, but I'm sure something will show up. And by the way, if you are on Twitter or X, whatever they call it, go see everybody's reactions to what's going on in D.C. I think there's a lot of fed up going on now. A lot of fed up. Jared Kushner just got another $2 billion for his fund from the Middle East. It's just, I don't know what to say. Up next, we'll give you an update on the aftermarket and what else we are seeing. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. I must tell you, this is a little weird. So we went up 500 in the aftermarket. The Dow is up, let's call it, well, it's back up to 300 now. But I have absolutely no news or words from anything whatsoever. Typically, something like this, something would show up on X or on my little briefing.com. It's just a running news thingamabob. And I don't know if I'm going to get anything before the show is over. Oil prices are down. Only USO is only down 3.5 right now. It was down 6. So we'll see. Something had to happen. But let's get back to the good stuff. The software stocks, crap-o-matic. Semiconductors getting that juice. And they're up in the aftermarket pretty darn good. Let me see how much. Percent. That's pretty good. The artificial intelligence symbols CIEN, COHR, GEV, GLW, LITE, STX, SNDK, TER, TSEM, VRT, WDC. All very strong. And by the way, they're up in the aftermarket. There's some sub ones I call. We call them secondary names. I'm not going to list those, but those are pretty much the big names going into tomorrow. I do have to mention Google or Alphabet. I still don't know why they changed the name. It looks like it may be starting to break down again pretty good. Go take a look at the chart of GOOG or GOOGL. Crypto, nothing going on. And possibly crypto's building another bear flag to break down out of. I saw somebody on TV today that said Bitcoin's acting well. Boy, I would have silly stringed that person if I was asking the questions. Or Super Soaker. He lied. That's what is known in my industry as talking the book. Here we go. 1 month ceasefire to be announced. That's what moved it. 1 month ceasefire to be announced under mechanism being developed by Witkoff and Kushner. That's the news. Whatever that means. That came out of Israeli Channel 12. And there's your news. Which means I'm going to guess the worst may be over. That would be the guess. All right, so the news is out, and we'll know overnight what the deal is. And we're starting to move back up. The Dow in the aftermarket now is back up. Let's call it 360. And nice move in the QQQ. That's the big NASDAQ. Let's call it. It sounds minuscule. It's a little over 1%. It's called 1.2%. It's a big 1.2%. They needed to do this. They needed to get anything done. They needed to save face. As we have said to you, and we take no joy, complete miscalculations. Complete miscalculations by whoever made the decisions on our side. On oil prices, the Strait of Hormuz, the capabilities of Iran. So tomorrow looks like we'll open pretty good. Unless that's a BS story. But it came from Israel and one of their big stations. So, doesn't matter what I told you about today's market. We'll have a good open tomorrow if nothing changes. And I'm just looking for movement in the aftermarket here. Oil prices down about $5. And I gather they'll be down a little more overnight if this sticks. There's your answer. Pay attention to that list that we told you about. We were also going to tell you today, we thought, even though the market was down, the broad market was a little better throughout the day, but that doesn't matter at this point either. Oil stocks, defense stocks probably come in, but let's see if this news is true. It has not come out of the president's mouth just yet. Wow. A lot of movement today, huh? And a pissed off Gary. I wish I could affect some change. I got no say. And those who are in power will only investigate the other side, as they say. And that's unfortunate. Got another little bump in the aftermarket. Well, the QQQ, little bit of a bump. We're up about 360 on the Dow for tomorrow. And obviously what you do tonight is see if the news is correct. But as of now, looks like they're trying to come up with a 1-month ceasefire. And just so you know, we contacted them, not the other way around. And again, no joy. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. Again, let's hope we're out of this. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well, be well. Everything we say here is on behalf of you. We care that much. And let me repeat, we take no joy in some of the things we have to cover. Stay well, be well till tomorrow. Good night.